Hey YouTube, it's your girl Catherine Martinez. For those of you who don't know, my Instagram name is NYC_2_LA, and I'm going to be the main one running the Through Tonie We Heal YouTube channel. I'm going to use this platform to spread awareness about domestic violence and mental health. I'll be sharing resources for domestic violence victims, also resources for families. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, spread the word. We definitely want to make sure that this is getting out, and not for publicity, but more so to help people, because I know a lot of people are suffering. I know a lot of victims are kind of suffering in silence because they're ashamed of their situation, or they're scared to come out, or they don't know where to go. So we want to help. I'm also going to shed some light on Tonie's story. I feel that she deserves it, and I feel there's a lot of misconceptions about Tonie and her relationship and the situation and how things kind of went down in her last final days. So this would be a good healing process for the family, and also for those who cared about Tonie and those who are also following the story. So yeah, this first YouTube video is going to be about her final days, so stay tuned. So on the 23rd, we had the infamous bingo night, where she had her beautiful white onesie. Before we got there, I had realized that Tonie had been talking to Barry again. And I think the family also noticed. She would post pictures on her Instagram about him and, throw little subs. They had each other on social media. So when we first got to the house on the 23rd, and my aunt, she kind of told us, like, Tonie's a little upset right now because she got a message from a coworker of Barry's, alleging that they had been having a situation or kind of like an affair. So of course, that got Tonie upset, and she texted Barry and she told him about it. And I remember her, talking about Barry and just kind of saying, like, what, this is kind of like my last straw. Like, I'm pretty done with him. Like, I'm just tired of the embarrassment, and I just need to be free. And I encourage that. I'm like, what, we're gonna get lit tonight. We're gonna have a good time. It's the holidays. Like, let's just enjoy ourselves and just worry about it, another time and whatever. So we had a good time. We played bingo. We got drunk. We opened gifts, whatever. So towards the end of the night, her and her brother and her mom ended up getting into this huge fight, because they started talking about Barry, and the family was upset because they felt that, listen, this is another letdown, and just as every other time, you've taken him back. And they were kind of angry. They were like, you deserve better. And I think they were kind of frustrated in that no matter what they would say, she would always like take him back or forgive him. And I think families sometimes just get frustrated with, like, we're telling you about your worth, and it's not getting through your head. So there was a huge fight and a huge argument, a huge disagreement. So Tonie ended up coming to my house at the night of the 23rd with the baby, just to cool off. When she got up after the huge fight and stuff, my mom had a conversation with Tonie and just about the whole situation. And yeah, your mom may be angry with you because you're not leaving this man, but it's not because she hates you or anything. She knows that you deserve better, and she knows that you don't deserve to be in this kind of relationship. And then she opened up about it, and she's like, what, we do have our good times, and she felt that Barry was her problem to fix. And I think that's the main thing that I got out of it. She kind of justified and made excuses for his behavior and said he needs help and he's going to get help. And, I think she kind of like brainwashed her into believing that. When we try to tell her that Barry's a grown man, and well, I know you want to help him, and I know you want to help solve all his problems, he's not your problem to solve. Like, you're destroying yourself in the process of trying to save him. You're torturing yourself trying to help this man who obviously doesn't want to be helped. If you heard, that was kind of like the biggest thing, was that talk, and us just trying to remind her that we love you. You have so much support around you. That day is when she woke up and she decided, like, I want to go into a shelter. I want to go into a domestic violence shelter, because she figured that he knew where her mom lived. He knew where she worked, and all her places that she could possibly hide. And she felt that, okay, a shelter where at least I could get away from him. He won't know where I am. So I made some phone calls. I called different shelters, see if any of them had any, vacancies, any spots available. I called different numbers, and eventually I was given the number to the Family Justice Center. And of course, it was closed because it was Christmas Day. So we had decided, okay, so tomorrow morning on the 26th, we will go. We'll see from there. We're gonna start this process to get you into a shelter. So she decided, we should take the time to go get my paperwork, get some clothing, just in case there is a spot in the shelter. We have all our paperwork ready, and we also have some clothes. So we went to Brooklyn to go get her stuff, and I guess she was texting Barry as it was happening, and she's like, hey, listen, just so you know, I'm going to Brooklyn with my aunt and my cousin. Just don't make a scene. Just stay out of the way. I'm just going to go get my stuff, and we're going to be in and out. And that was that. So we went to Brooklyn. And as we were driving there, I think that we all were kind of nervous. Going to the apartment, it was my first time going to her apartment in Brooklyn, and I remember it just being so cold and just so scary. So of course, like, my mom takes the role, and she's like, you know, do you see his car parked anywhere? And she's like, no. Tony's like, no, I don't see his car. So we walk and we park across the street. We go, she starts unlocking the door. So my mom's like, you know what? Let me go in first. My mom has like a pipe, like, let me go in first in case he tries to attack. I'm gonna go in first. So my mom goes in first, Tonie goes second, and then I'm in the back. And so I grab the shovel and she unlocks the door. My mom goes to the apartment first as we still in the hallway, and you know, my mom checks the apartment and she's like, all right, like, he's not in here, we're clear. So me and Tonie go inside, and my mom stays by the door with the pipe in case he tries to come in. So it felt like it was a scene out of a movie, like as if a woman's trying to escape, and you know, we don't know like how much time we have left. And so she, you know, she's packing her stuff, and I'm trying to keep her calm. I'm like, you know what, Tonie, like, take your time, Tone, like, you know, just find out what you need, get the clothes that you need, get, you know, the baby's clothes, your clothes for work, you have, you know, your jackets, you have your scarves, your sweatpants, your panties, bras, whatever. So we're packing all her stuff, and as she's getting it to me, I'm putting it in the bag, and you know, we're packing the bags. Sorry, so I could just tell that she was like nervous. So I'm like, okay, get your paperwork, make sure you have all the paperwork, and get anything that you need. So she grabs all her stuff. So as we're getting ready to leave, my mom's like, you know, hurry up, let's go. So we get all her stuff. She's walking towards the car, and I remember my mom saying this, like, specifically, like, word for word. She's like, Tonie, you were lucky this time to get out alive. Next time you're not gonna be so lucky. And I remember I brushed it off. So, you know, we pack in the car, and as we pack in the car, we're still trying to make sure that, like, you know, he doesn't just pop up anywhere. So I remember her just like looking kind of relieved, like, all right, we got through that. Like, you know, we dropped her stuff off to her mom's house. And then we went to a neighbor's holiday party. She had a really good time. And I remember, like, at the end of the night, after we were lit off Taylorport, I remember her writing on her Instagram story, like, I'm finally happy. And I wrote her in her DM, even though we were like a room apart, and I was like, this is the way you deserve to feel all the time. Like, you deserve to feel happy all the time. December 26th, I remember us waking up early because we had to go to the Family Justice Center. It was kind of in and out. The lady, one of the workers, she told Tonie, oh, you know, domestic violence, like shelters and all issues with domestic violence are done over the phone. It's really confidential. And so she gave her like a paper. She said, call this number. So we go to her mom's house, and she calls the number, and she does the intake over the phone. And I remember her like on the phone with the people from the shelter, and she's kind of explaining, like, you know, stuff that Barry has done to her, and the order of protection that she got, and how she had a kid. I'm thinking about a divorce, and I'm scared that he's gonna come after me once he finds out that I want a divorce. It's kind of like a 30-minute process. My mom happened to pick me up, and so on my way home, I remember Tonie texting me, and she's like, I got into a shelter, and they want me to come now. The guy from the shelter told me to take the train to the last stop, and I think it was like on the E train. But we told her, you know, tell him, like, you know, we're driving you. So he told her get dropped off on I think 169th or 189th in Jamaica. So we turned back around and we go to pick her up. And I remember before we go to head to Queens, she goes, I want to pawn on my wedding ring. And we all were kind of shocked. We were like, oh, because I think she took so much pride in that wedding ring. Despite everything that happened, she took so much pride in that ring. So we take her, she gets her ring pawned, and she's like, I got money now. She seemed like she was in good spirits. She was happy. And so, you know, we drove her and the baby to Queens. And I remember in the car, you could just tell she was a little nervous because I think, like, you know, it was a new journey for her. So we spent that time driving to Queens, just encouraging her and letting her know, like, you're going to be okay. Like, you're gonna be fine. She kept saying, like, you know, I got this. And so, you know, we gave her her bag. So I remember the advocate, like, meeting her. He didn't even cross the street. You know, he kind of stood on that side of the street, didn't make it too obvious. So, you know, we gave her a hug, and we're like, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. So she's like, yeah, like, I got it. And so yeah, so we drop her off, and you know, she goes to the shelter. So about like 2 hours later, you know, we texting her, like, making sure that she's okay. And this is around probably like 7:30. She's like, yeah, like, I'm okay. And so she sent me like some videos, and she's like recording the shelter, and she's like, look, like, you know, they gave me groceries, and they gave her like bed sheets and stuff like that. They gave her a crib for the baby. She said, you know, like, it's peaceful and it's quiet. And I remember texting her, like, you know, like, this is your way out, you know, like, you got it, like, you know, this is for you, this is for Charlie, like, you know, you can't mess this up, like. And she kept telling me, like, I got this. At 9:39 we FaceTimed, and it was like really brief, ended in about like 3-4 minutes, and yeah, that was the last time that I was gonna speak to Tonie. December 27th, and I woke up that morning. I remember waking up that morning and I was missing Tonie. I'm like, you know, I miss her. Like, I spent the last 4 days waking up to her. So I text her. Well, no, I DM'd her a video from an influencer on Instagram, and you know, I sent it to Tonie, and it was about women having to fill their own cup before they try to fix someone else. So I remember like DMing it to her, and you know, I didn't get a response. And so as I'm kind of like living in my own world at home, my aunt and my mom are talking, and my aunt calls my mom, and she's like, you know, where's Tonie? Because the plan was for Tonie to come to her mom's house to drop off Charlie. So my mom's kind of telling her, like, you know, it's fine, like, she's all the way, she's deep in Queens, and maybe she got lost. My aunt, she's at home, and she gets a DM, some random account saying to give her a call, or to give them a call. So when my aunt, you know, calls them, they tell her, yeah, your daughter's done. And so she's kind of confused, like, she thought that Tonie had hurt Barry, and that basically she's done, like, she's going to jail. And then the person's like, no, he found her body in the basement. And that's when our life just kind of shattered.